like the title says, is the kit lens that comes with your camera the best tool you can have? Yes. Don't write angry comments. The reason I say it's the best tool is in the sense that when you're just starting out as a photographer, this is where you do all your learning. Autofocus, manual focus, telephoto. Normally you can choose between the 18 to 55, and I went for the 18 to 135 so I can get more zoom range before it hits that f5.6. And yeah, as you progress and buy more lenses, as you get better and have more money, you can get something like the 70 to 200 millimeter f2.8, or another prime lens at f1.8 or f1.4, and maybe even 1.2. I don't know what your budget is. Okay, the glass is not bad. It's good. It is what it is. It may not be the sharpest to the trained eye. Okay, but it's better than something that parents take to their kids' soccer game, like a Power Shot or Nikon Coolpix, whatever it is. Not judging them, maybe a little bit of judging. But whether you're shooting outdoors on a cloudy day or a sunny day, you learn how to configure your exposure settings with something like this, and you learn how to make do with what you have. And yes, if you have something like Lightroom or Photoshop where you can post-process and bring the image up to the ideal image that you had in your head, great, good for you. And you should always try to get it right in camera as best you can, obviously. When I'm doing publicity shots or dress rehearsal photos for a show, and I can only zoom in to 135 millimeters at f5.6, yeah, it's gonna look really dark unless I bump up the ISO really high, anywhere from 2500 to 3200, or maybe even more. And yeah, you introduce a lot of digital noise into that. When you see the digital noise that you're introducing with the camera, okay, fine, you know what you need to work on, what you need to improve for the next time you do a shoot or something like that. It's a total learning process. That is the purpose of a kit lens, to help you learn how to be a better photographer, so that when you do shoots, and gradually you can earn more money, I hope, and gradually buy yourself better lenses. And sometimes the light in a show gets very, very dark, and maybe you're not sure exactly what your manual settings should be. And there's tons of other YouTube videos on that. Google the exposure triangle for photography, and there's some really cool interactive tools and websites out there. I just think that people shouldn't knock a kit lens just because of the quality of glass. If you're shooting only JPEG, God help you. If you're shooting RAW, great, you can do things in post. In a scene in a show that has very low light, and you're only able to move around so much with your camera to shoot it, even at the widest angle of 18 millimeters at f3.5, even if it still doesn't let in a lot of light. Now, personally, I would highly suggest, if you are able to do promotional pictures to hype up a play you're doing, go talk to the board operator. Ask them well before a show or rehearsal if they can bring up the lights for as many different scenes for you, so you can test it out, and you'll know what kind of exposures, whether you need to bring the ISO up or down. If you think you don't need to prepare and just fly by the seat of your pants on it,
what we've got here is failure to calculate.
I totally get it, totally respect it, because I've done it many times. But I just want to reiterate and try to hit home, kit lens is one of the greatest learning tools. Now, I will say, if you're shooting in a very dimly lit scene, and the best you have is f3.5, and you don't want to add a whole bunch of digital noise to the image,
some exposures you just can't reach.
Not saying it's impossible, but it probably won't look the best. But generally, that's okay. You're you're learning and the people you're photographing on stage are probably cool with it. Take heart and don't worry if you don't have an f1.8 or f1.4 lens, because if you do, it's probably a prime. It's going to be a lot more difficult to move around. With the kit lens, you can just zoom in. So I hope this video helped give a little perspective on one of the best learning tools a photographer can have. And maybe soon enough. Now for those who already own one of these bags, you know exactly what's inside. For those who don't, the surprise is coming soon enough. So be excellent, and I'll see y'all in the next one.
Like that movie Jaws, half the time the shark wasn't even working. That's why Steven Spielberg had to get creative. So he got barrels. And a very good editor, Verna Fields. She deserved that Oscar.